Okay, hello. Today is the 12th of September, and I'm doing a very quick unboxing of the Urban Tarot. This was originally out in 2015 and reprinted last year by Robin S. Scott. No, just Robin Scott, okay? It is a modern interpretation. This is a little bit different than your typical. It includes some of your typical association, the Waite Smith deck, but and Coleman should be added to that. She was the artist, but this deck uses elements, and it does have word associations. It's worth, I think, the time to invest, which I'm not going to do right here and right now, but to read what they've put there. It's significant to make the use of this deck that much deeper, I believe. There is a bit of a backstory here, a narrative about a city and about magic, and that this deck is for the 21st century seeker struggling to find insight and understanding in an urban environment. It is a set of ancient symbols designed to help you see the miraculous in the modern and the mundane. All right, I think that's nice. Included is a card that by the creator, which is a man, I believe, but not necessarily these days. So anyhow, it's a love letter to their city, their island, their first muse, New York City. Okay. And I don't want to go on and read all that because I think it's worthwhile. And if that appeals to you, it's worth getting and reading. This is also another card that gives you a quick, I think, jump guide to the symbols of the infinite, and the elements, and little, again, word association. There's meaning there, so you can keep it out. It says that the deck's structure is based heavily on the Thoth. I never know if I'm saying that right. The one by Aleister Crowley. I've used that deck, but I have to be in the mood to use it. I don't tend to use it a lot. I know some people love it, and I get why they love it. But it's just not one that quite fits me. But I get why people like it. So it has a similar emphasis as that one. And my apologies if I didn't pronounce that name right. You'd think, as someone who's read the tarot for so long, that but nah. The deck also draws significant inspiration from the older Rider Waite deck, originally published in 1910, illustrated by the incomparable Pamela Coleman Smith. Yes, I'm so glad that this author and creator gave her a shout out. So this is really cool. Okay, now this is a large deck for someone with small hands, such as myself. I am petite. I am small. I will have to most definitely probably break it in quarters. But if that isn't a problem, you might really find that the size is perfect. The one really neat thing is that it is slender. I do prefer decks that are, they're less wide for one thing. They're easier to shuffle, and they tend to wear better. You want some flexibility. You do. You want some flexibility. Otherwise, you can get bent cards and stuff, and that's really not pleasant. So what's this card stock? It's paper. It's paper. Beautiful artwork. Come on, autofocus. I have to look over here at the monitor. Okay, so that's a taste of the Urban Tarot, all right? Okay. I gotta see where I'm gonna set all that. I'm gonna leave that out because that might come into this quick jump because it's so heavily based, and it does have its own unique symbology, so that I'm not like slowing down way too much. Now, the subject reading is political tarot in nature, and it'll be in my political tarot playlist. I want to look and see if the Democrats are going to, how well, if they do, a October surprise for the Republicans. As you recall, last year, I just cannot imagine that they don't have some strategy about that. Not last year, but in the last election in 2016, they couldn't help themselves. They'd let it slip, or they would say something about the October surprise that they had planned. I remember that term and what ended up happening with Clinton's campaign. It really took the buildup that she had nicely established. It really did affect the energy. It just took, unfortunately, something away that was it tangibly changed things. And it was real dirty, rotten trick. You know, they got in there and they changed that focus and narrative with their bullcrap. So, the stock of these cards is relatively stiff, so I'm really breaking them down into not just quarters, but eighths. But they're flexible enough that if I do it this way, I can break up this new deck because it's all in order. When you receive a tarot deck, some people who don't use the tarot, maybe have never picked up a deck, haven't picked up a deck in years. When you purchase a tarot deck, it's all in order. The major arcana are grouped. You have the minor arcana. It's all in order. All the court cards are in order. The deck is completely in order. And that deck and the deck itself is about a journey. And these are symbols along the way. So there's a little Tarot 101 for you. But now let's get back to that October surprise aspect that I want to look at. I really hope that the Democrats won't be sitting on their hiney, you know. I really hope that we're going to see a bit more of their active, tasteful, and well-deserved, but doing something about it. So I want to see if they're going to give the Republicans their own October surprise and what effect it will have. Okay? So I've got to take a moment and I've got to shift into that. Now we shift into the reading. Will the Democrats strategize a brilliant and effective October surprise for the Republicans? A little payback where it is due, where they can. I can say that already comparatively, and it's not nearly enough, but just the comparison of the organization and the team work and how it reflected in the Democratic, convention versus the Republican one. That just showed such a huge difference. And I'm just hoping that strategically the Democratic Party will be acting in a way that isn't as if they're half asleep or taken off guard. I want them to be on the offense. I want them to be taking down this tyrant. And I want them to show us that they are together in doing that. So I'm asking, just through the event, one thing, if they're going to give the Republicans an October surprise they won't forget. Now, normally I'm not into partisanism. I believe that we need to work together, and this is part of the problem. But the current other party does not want to work with us. They've proven that. And they don't care about the well-being of other people. They are a classist system. They want that 1% to be in that echelon. The rest of us are peasants they don't give a damn about. We are here to be exploited for money as far as they're concerned. Seriously, we have to understand that is how they think of us. People like Trump and many other leaders in the world think of people, they have that those that are of that upper percentile now, Putin, all of them, that's how they think. Now, that's not how Obama thought, and it's not how other presidents in the past here thought either, although I do think some of them probably did. But we won't go into that. This is a reading on the Democrats, and for the sake of whatever it is they're going to do, I'm going to keep it. If I get I'm going to be careful about what I relate. What I'm asking for is a basic understanding of, are they going to do something? Will it be successful in taking down this tyrannical GOP and president via this October surprise? Now, I don't expect it to be the one thing, because I don't think it's going to be just one thing, but I want to see if it's going to be very, very effective in taking the wind out of their sails. That's what I want to see. I don't need to know too deeply beyond that, because I don't want to relate something that can be exploited. And there's ways you can do that. So I'm wanting to know five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do the Democrats deliver the Republican Party a very special October surprise? What is its effect? First card, the Emperor. How appropriate. Okay. Again, I'm going to be reading in pairs. Sorrow. Yeah. You have the Emperor and you have sorrow together. I'm going to lower the camera, and to do that more quietly, I'm going to put it on mute first, so hold on. Okay, so we have the Emperor and we have sorrow, which is, I believe, this is the Three of Swords. So this definitely is talking about a leader that's going to feel betrayed, but who also has the energy around them of betrayal. Of the Three of Swords is also can be about being a traitor, but it is, so this disloyalty aspect keeps coming up in my readings with concern to, I believe, Donald Trump. I believe that one of the basic elements is further disloyalty toward him will be shown. And it's going to be meant to be very painful. It's definitely some division from those that have been loyal to him. I believe those that have worked with him. Again, as more people get in trouble that have worked for him, that is nothing but leverage. And there's going to be, I think, a considerable amount of leverage. This time he's going to feel the pain, is the feeling I'm getting with this message. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that was over there. This time he's going to feel the pain. So yes, I do think, long answer short, that there is something coming, and it is meant to further create division among those who have been loyal to him, but loyal in a way that matters or counts to him. He's going to have that need exploited, I think, in a strategy. To the Four of Swords, which can be, this card says truce, the Hierophant. This to me speaks more of the people like Barr who have remained in that they hold, saying what is law. But this truce it just shows to me that they feel like there's the feeling of a compromised group of people, okay? Of what was once the Republican Party is not the same Republican Party. It's not the same party even it was back in 2016. A lot has changed, and so that they have surrendered to Trump, and as a result, once they're not under his sheltering anymore, I feel like some of them are going to talk and they're going to bring the pain. Significant. Significantly. It's like they're going to point out how the rules don't matter or the rules didn't matter. That there was an understanding even with this Hierophant and the Four of Swords that the rules were on kind of a suspended consideration. And this is also about, I think, ending his time and ending the offices, the people that held offices and hold offices, with that they're getting them willing to talk, and also having them in a position where they don't really have a choice. They're going to have to, because once they're out of kind of his courtyard, now there comes a time that they do have to answer. And what's going to happen, I think, again, is that people, the main thing, are going to become disloyal to him. People that have worked, held cabinet positions and things of that nature. There's a stillness, though. I just think it could also mean that they surrender, they resign. I think some people this might also be that it could cause people to resign that are yet in, whoever is in his left, in October of his administration. This could cause some kind of significant resignation in October. Something the Democrats are able to accomplish. It's shows a disloyalty of someone, and not just Trump's disloyalty, but I think it's going to be personal for him. That's about the only way you're going to get through to him, is if it's personally about him. If it's about other people, he doesn't really care. But when it affects him, when that pain is his own, then it matters. Then he cares. And because his ego is so enormous, there's this sense of loyalty. So I really feel that there will be resignation, and I think people betraying him. That's going to come out. This is science and costume designer, or the Princess of Cups. This is, I think, also something to do with the obliviousness that they've assigned to science and fact. The fact that, we have him recently saying that he knew that he understood exactly what COVID was. And worst of all, and more evil than anything, he goes on and is quite willing to tell the public. That's how much he doesn't think of the populace, to not worry about it, play it down, to them. He doesn't know how to properly govern people. He doesn't value their lives to begin with. He knows the facts. He knows how deadly it was. So, by his own admission. So this is about that little game that he plays. There's something with that. He provides them, what I also get is, he provides them more than one means of attack, if you will, strategically, because he's done so many rotten things. how he treats his staff, what his staff have to go through, the high turnover rate, and the criminality, the fact that many of them are going to have to answer to the law because of the laws that are being broken in his presidency. Many resign and are willing to talk or write books. Some, though, haven't, and this is maybe also looking at any NDAs that being broken. Again, I'm getting that sense that somebody he does not anticipate, that he thinks he has sewn up maybe with an NDA, or who hasn't talked in a long time, or I don't know. He's not thinking they're going to talk is going to talk. And it's devastating. It is unplanned for. And there are topics include science versus a joke, science versus not taking things seriously enough, this complete nonchalance. We get the Hangman, and we get the Lovers. Also, his partnerships will be suspended. Something where there is a delay that will be caused in people supporting him. Maybe he's not going to get endorsed. So, we know that anybody that's going to endorse him is going to be at the bottom of the bottom. But I think there's still going to be some delay in endorsement. He might have to really. I don't know that he's going to have automatic slap-on, happy-dappy support that he wants from certain people. There's certain people whose help he wants, and there's certain people that might say, yes, I endorse it, and he doesn't give a, what. This is just coming to me. But it's key people only, and I think he's going to see a hang-up somehow. They're going to see associating with him as that he's radioactive. Trump's going to be considered very much on the way of radioactive. Less people are going to want to be connected. That's good. That's a good thing. And I think they will be successful. There is a very effective success in their October surprise, or whatever it is that they are planning for Trump and his Republican Party. They are able to expose and create a situation where they're more damaged. They are kind of radioactive, so to speak, but considered more that way. They are able to effectively show with their own. I get it. It's like they don't have to do much, but be clever in the way that they deliver it, because they provide the material of, especially with science and COVID, not caring about the populace and the bounties on our soldiers' heads. They've really got to sew up these facts and present them to the American people also. So the American people understand this isn't a party anymore it's a group of loyalists to Putin, and they don't have America's best interests at hand, and this is how they're doing this and dismissing our science, and you're less informed. And I think Trump is going to start to see that his time is really coming undone, that those grains in the hourglass are starting to make more noise to him. He's going to notice that partnerships, there's not exactly a line out the door. Support in general is going to be hard for him to maintain. And yes, Democrats will have a very successful October surprise for Trump strategically. It will be cleverly done. There's your reading for September the 12th, 2020, on the Democrats and any October surprise plans for Trump and party.